folks, my name is Dennis McGillicuddy. I've been a resident of Ayer, Massachusetts for over 24 years. And all that time, I never knew that there was a tunnel that ran from Main Street to Faulkner Street under the tracks until this year in 2018. When I heard that there was a tunnel underneath the railroad tracks, I had to see it and I had to video record the history of it. So today I'm here with Rick Lynn from the Air Water Department, Alan Minoyan, the Director of Community and Economic Development, and Dave Malpignano, my videographer. We're here to take a look at the tunnel. It's also known as the subway. That was built back in 1908 for people to cross under the railroad tracks safely. Let me give you a little bit of its history. Evidently, in its heyday, when the Groton Junction, which Ayer was known as back then, was at its peak, the trains were crossing more frequently than they are now. More people were getting hurt or killed while attempting to cross the tracks. Just this year, a man carrying a bicycle was killed very near the tunnel. It can take up to a mile for a train to stop. Stuff hangs off the sides of trains. The sides of trains extend out as much as 3 feet from either side of the tracks. It is very dangerous to cross the tracks. On the other hand, the bridge on East Main Street was originally built in the 1906 timeframe to allow vehicles and pedestrians to cross safely over the tracks. It was rebuilt in the 1950s timeframe. It takes all of 6.5 minutes to walk around the bridge from Main Street to Faulkner Street. I know, I did it. Why risk injury or death for the sake of a few minutes of time saved? A bike would even be faster. Plus, it is illegal. Crossing over the tracks is trespassing, and it can cost as much as $1,000 in fines and time spent in jail. Seems a no-brainer to me. The tunnel operated as it was intended until around the 1970s, when the town decided to close and seal it due to its misuse and homeless sleeping in the tunnel. At one point, the DPW put a water pipe through the tunnel to save the town some money. As you can see by these old black and white photos, there are wooden sheds over the entrances and exits of the stairs going down into the tunnel. What's there now, above ground, is what looks like a local bus waiting area made of brick. So, I'm sitting here at the brick waiting area, and if I look down, I'll see the manhole that leads down into the tunnel. If you open the manhole cover, you would see a ladder that leads to an underground tunnel. We decided to use the Faulkner Street side of the tunnel. It too has a heavy manhole cover, but it was easier to access the tunnel. After slipping on rubber boots and manning high-powered flashlights, we climbed down the ladder of the manhole. The footage of the video is shaky because the floor of the tunnel is very slippery, and there is a lot of mud and debris. You can see this by Rick Lynn trying to move as much as they can out of the way of Dave the cameraman.
Yeah, be careful.
It's also very dark, which makes it all the more dangerous.
And hug the left.
On both ends of the tunnel there used to be stairs. Now they're just sealed off. Because the tunnel has not been continually maintained over the years, there are cracks in the walls and the white tiles on the bricks are falling off. The cost to renovate this tunnel and make it safe for people to walk under the tracks would be expensive. There is no telling what the structural integrity is of the tunnel roof, especially with heavy trains running over it throughout the day and night.
I think here you see in the wall, the break in the brick wall here, this would have been the stairway going up into the building, the center building, right in the railroad tracks. And that's been sealed off, obviously.
Still, how much is a life worth? If the town of Ayer, or whoever owns this property, could have obtained the money to upgrade and maintain this tunnel, then maybe that man with the bicycle would still be alive. I spoke with another Ayer resident who remembers using the tunnel back in the 1970s. He used it to go back and forth to school, as well as to go to downtown Ayer and to catch the trains. He also remembers that there were wood floors and railings installed so that people did not have to walk on wet concrete floors. He said people used to sit on the steps and drink and sleep there, and you would have to step over them. He said at first he used it mostly during the day and sometimes at night. Later on, he only used it during the daytime because people would break the lights and drink alcohol down in the tunnel, and he could smell the urine. He used to bypass the tunnel back then because it was not safe, but he told me that he could use it now if it was repaired and cleaned up and there were cameras monitoring the tunnel. Also, at rush hour, it would be simpler to just walk through the tunnel to downtown for dinner and billiards than to face that long line of traffic. Towards the end of the tunnel's use back then, graffiti started showing up and caused the tunnel to look dingy. We believe that the tunnel is a historic site and that it should be restored to its original glory, so the residents can enjoy using it and the tourists can admire it. Or how about an alternate method to cross the tracks? So what do you think? Do you think this tunnel should be reopened? Was this information about the tunnel good to know? I thought it was. I'm Dennis McGillicuddy. See you next time on Good to Know. If anyone has information related to the tunnel, please let me know by sending me an email to goodtoknow772@gmail.com. What you are looking at now are images of our quaint little town an hour west of Boston.